Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you a day 15, or is it 16? 16. Apologies. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you day 16 of my Vlogmas 2023 series, and this is another finale. It is my Read With Me series finale. Just a quick reminder, my Read With Me series is the series where I go through all of the books I'm reading and the reading challenges that I am actively trying to achieve. We've got 4 books to talk about today, and then we're going to do a quick little end of year wrap up to see where we're going. So I have been working, I guess, actively on 3 reading challenges. One is the Color Me reading series that I created with Samantha from Makeup Mania and More. The other is Your Pan, Your TBR Bookshelf, which was created by Amy from Curly Loves Books and Beauty. And finally, it is my Goodreads reading challenge for 2023. I'll have all the details and who else has joined in on this all linked down below. But let's not dilly-daddle, and we'll jump straight into the books I've been reading. So the first book I read was Liminal Thinking by Dave Gray. As always, I'll have a picture of the cover up here. I listened to this via audiobook. In fact, I have listened to all the books we're going to be discussing today via audiobook. But this one, it just didn't leave me with anything. It is a book about change and how our beliefs and our ability to restructure our beliefs will assist us and help us in developing the world and making change. So it is all about liminal thinking. I didn't really feel that I got much from this book. I think the basic concepts were good, but it isn't a book that I walked away remembering. So I listened to this back in November, and to be honest, I can't really remember anything specific from the book. So it did leave me a little bit unimpressed, and I only gave it 2 stars in Goodreads. I think another reason I didn't overly get into it is because a lot of the concepts and ideas that were discussed were things that I've already touched on and read about in other writings. So I don't think it brought anything to the table that I hadn't already discovered. I think if you were starting down the road at looking at liminal thinking and thinking outside the box and creating change, this might be a good book to start with. But for me, it just felt like I was rehashing old concepts that I had already read and learnt about. The next book I read, I absolutely adored, definitely a 5-star rating from me, and that was Wisdom from the Humble Jellyfish and Other Self-Care Rituals from Nature. This was by Rainey Sahar, I think that's how you say it. I'll put it down here just in case. But Rainey uses nature and things that are naturally occurring and activities that animals naturally do to explain good self-care rituals that we should have in our own life. For example, she talks about how the jellyfish moves through the ocean. It contracts and releases, which then pushes it through the water, and it talks about how they have really regular breaks. And it talks about that in our lives and that we should be looking to do similar things. So you work hard, then you relax and you take a break, and then you work hard and you relax and take a break. That having those self-care moments, those breaks in between stressful situations, really gets you through the ocean, gets you through life a lot easier and more energy efficiently. But I really enjoyed this book and the concepts that were developed. I also really liked the structure that Rainey put the book into and the different discussions between the different animals. I did listen to this via audiobook, but this would be a book that I would definitely look to purchase and keep on my bookshelf, because I obviously need another book on my bookshelf. But if you are interested in self-care, self-help, finding balance in your life, this is definitely a book that I would recommend. And this book actually went towards the color black in my Color Me Reading challenge. The next book I read also went towards my Color Me Reading challenge, and that was for the color salmon. And this book is The Sugar Jar, Creating Boundaries, Embracing Self-Healing, and Enjoying the Sweet Things in Life. This is by Yasmin Shanae, I think is how it's said. I'll have that link down here, put down here as well, so you can see exactly how to say that. And this whole book talks about the concept that we have a sugar jar, that our energy and our motivation and our ability to give or to look after ourselves is within our sugar jar. So essentially, our energy is represented by sugar, which is kept in our sugar jar. And if you do not properly keep clean, protect, and utilize your sugar jar, then people will just go in there willy-nilly and you'll get sugar all over your kitchen. This book is very much about balance and self-healing, and the ability that though you might have let those boundaries go and have sugar all over the joint, you can actually clean that up and put those boundaries in place and take better care of yourself as well as your sugar. I really enjoyed the metaphor in this book and the concepts that were discussed. It is a lot about those concepts of saying no, setting boundaries, making the best decisions to help yourself, and deciding who and where you're going to let utilize your energy or your sugar. I think the best thing about this book is the fact that it is made really clear that even if you have depleted your sugar, you can continue to fill up your sugar jar, that there is always space for change, that even if you've got yourself into a situation with a lack of boundaries and the way that you're treated, that can also be changed. I think this is a great starting book for self-healing, especially if you have a problem with keeping your sugar in your jar. It's definitely worth a read, and I really enjoyed the stories and the concepts and the advice that was provided throughout. And I actually gave this book 4 stars in my Goodreads. And like I said, it goes towards the color salmon for my Color Me Reading challenge. Last but not least, I actually have not finished this book. I'm currently in the process of reading A Year to Live by Stephen Levine. This one actually goes to the color rust as part of my Color Me Reading series. And I'll say so far, I'm not really enjoying it. I'm listening to it via audiobook, and I am finding the narration to be rather droning, a bit monotone, and also it seems to be repeating itself quite a lot. But the concept of the book is based on an experiment where the author and his wife made the decision to tell themselves experimentally to live a year like it was their last year to live, like they only had a year left. So essentially, the book is talking about practicing dying, but not so much the actual process of the death, but the time that leads up to it. As he talks about that most people, when they're on their deathbed, they have regrets. Things that they wish they'd done, things they'd wish they'd said, memories and moments they wish they had achieved. But unfortunately, we don't know when we're going to kick the bucket. So the author suggests, Stephen Levine suggests, that we should actually take the next year to live like it is our last year and make those changes and do those things that we have always planned to do someday. Live in the moment, live now, practice dying. I think the concept itself is very intriguing, hence why I borrowed the book. But I have been finding the actual process of reading the book or listening to it via audiobook to be rather monotoned and repetitive and dragging on. I don't really feel like I'm getting the advice on how to live like it's my last year, how to live like you only have 1 year to live, and more so just reasons of why you should do it rather than how to actually do it. I would definitely say, I guess it's an interesting read, but not as enlightening or thought-provoking as I was hoping it would be. Like I said, I haven't finished it yet, but I am about 95% of the way through. That is all the books that I've managed to read since my last update. I guess to 2023 in reading review, I have read a total, including A Year to Live, which like I said, I haven't finished yet. I've read a total of 28 books, with 15 of those going towards my Colour Me Reading challenge. I'll put a picture up here of the colours and tick off which ones I've managed to achieve, and 1 book going towards my Pan Your TBR Bookshelf. I have definitely not been as successful with reading in relation to my challenges as I would like to have been, but with the fact that I read 28 books, that does mean I reached my 2023 Goodreads goal of reading 24 books. I'm definitely going to be shaking things up a little bit for 2024. I am going to keep my Goodreads reading goal at 24, as that is 2 books a month. But I am going to be starting a new reading challenge that's actually going to be part of a project. You'll see the video come up for that in the next few days. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing my Read With Me series in the same way. Let me know down in the comments if you do like this series, as I know that from my numbers of watches and views, these videos have always got the least amount of views. So I think I am going to focus more on this other reading challenge, which is a bit more like a project than anything else. And I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with a Read With Me series, or even if I'm going to continue with a Colour Me Reading challenge. I haven't fully decided, because I've noticed that I have been doing a Colour Me Reading challenge or something similar. As you know, I said earlier on that the Colour Me Reading challenge was inspired by KaliFab and her Monochromatic Year. I'll have that information linked down below, and up in the cards I'll have the first Monochromatic Year reading edition that I did. But I've been doing that challenge for a while, and I'm finding that I'm slipping further and further off that track. And I really want to put some time into focusing more on the Pan Your TBR Bookshelf challenge, as like I said, I've only read 1 book that's on my shelf for this year. I think a lot of that is because a lot of my reading, majority of my reading, are audiobooks, and I listen to them while I travel. And I don't like the idea of owning a book on my bookshelf and then hiring or borrowing the audiobook to listen to it. I know that that would technically count to me reading that book, but I feel like I still haven't read that physical book. And if I own a book, I'd rather read it physically, if that makes any sense, because I don't even think that makes sense to me. But that's just the way I think. So I'm a little bit on the fence in relation to some of my reading goals for 2024 and how I'm going to structure my video content regarding that. Please let me know down in the comment all your thoughts, feelings, etc. regarding these videos, this series, and my reading challenges. And look out for my new reading, I guess, project that I'm planning to do for 2024. That shall be coming up on my channel in the next week. Like I said, this is day 16 of my Vlogmas series, which means we do have approximately half a month until the end of of the year. I'm not sure if that is going to mean I'm going to get any more books done before then, but I wanted to wrap this video up now. So if I do get any more reading done, I will put it up on my Instagram, so make sure you're following along. I'll have that link down below. But until next time, this was my finale for my 2023 Read With Me series. I'm Verity, wishing you a happy holiday season, and now to the outro.